Hello, welcome to Sami Africa official again, my YouTube channel. Consider subscribing, like, share, and a comment. So today's video we are going to watch about Sifuna and the two senators. These two senators is from UDA side. They elected by UDA party, the party for president. So if you watch this video, you will realize that why UDA banned Sifuna for doing interview with.
You know, there's a big problem with this government, and we want to introduce some level of common sense. Whatever these people are smoking, it's not working for them. They need to either stop it completely, reduce it, or as they say in the streets, waache ikauke ama watoe mbegu. Because it is not working for them. Let us just introduce common sense and listen to the people. If the constitution starts by recognizing the supremacy of the people, where is the voice of the people? What is the purpose of this public participation? So you hear the head of state himself saying that the housing project is going to go on irrespective of the decisions of the court, that he's going to send the police to Haiti irrespective of what the courts have said. That is not the country that we want to live in. We want common sense to return. We want the supremacy of the people of Kenya to return in governance. So I don't see any way that you can regularize, because any law that you pass must be in accordance with the wishes of the people. And the people have spoken clearly that this housing levy is something that they do not want.
So is this simply based on the lack of ability to bear more taxes for Kenyans and not necessarily the lack of needs for houses? Or
I think that is the primary consideration, given the state of the people right now. And I've argued that the state of the nation is the state of the people. Yeah. People are facing very difficult times. Even the few people who say are employed. Yesterday I was at Kwanjenga Primary School as part of my oversight work over the school feeding program. And the teachers raised a very interesting point. They said, Sifuna, you people are saying you're feeding children in schools. But have you imagine that we as teachers are very happy to be feeding these children this food, and yet we don't have food ourselves? The teachers are looking at the children eating and wondering, why do you think us guys don't need food? Because if you look at the teacher's payslip right now, so a teacher who teaches at a primary school like Kwanjenga is not a rich person. If they tell you the state of their pockets, their deductions, some of them have children who are unable to go to school. They are in their houses. When you leave a school like that, you're given a full list of teachers' children who are unable to go to Form 1, people who have done Form 4, Class 8. Yeah. So we are saying the state of the people is such that the sort of taxes that have been imposed by this current regime are unbearable. Please allow us to be able to breathe just for a few years, and then you can tell us about new taxes.
Okay. Now, if you say, for example, we have a right to clean air. Can you go to court right now and say, I don't have clean air? There is the right of the pursuit of happiness in the American Constitution. Somebody can say my happiness is, something that offends you. You get my point? Is there, can somebody take you to court for because he is not allowed to have the pursuit of happiness?
Okay.
So our constitution is all constitutions generally are very ambitious. Yeah. They have all, it's a shopping list, very good ideas in that. But the issue is, what is legally applicable in there?
Okay, let me bring in the lawyers.
No,
is there judicial?
Farah said a lot of things that are just outrageous. First of all, you can go to court to enforce your right to clean air. It is just common sense. If the law requires that, for instance, certain quality of air should be maintained, there's a law on the environment, and then somebody puts up a factory there that is polluting the air, or a quarry that is making noise. We have seen people litigate these things, and the courts have actually shut down those operations because they are ruining your right to a clean air. Number two, when you talk about checks and talk about separation of powers, in fact, there's also the checks and balances bit of it, that in fact the judiciary exists to check the power of the legislature and the power of the executive. You cannot say it is judicial overreach when a judge takes a law that you have passed in parliament and looks at it in terms of comparison with the propriety or whether it was passed in accordance with the constitution. It is the people of Kenya who gave the judiciary the power to do that. And this constitution says the constitution, the people are supreme. So you cannot argue that the people in the executive cannot be told how to govern when they have the 5 years. That is just not true. I think you are living in the past, Farah, because this new constitution
I'm not
totally changed the paradigm. Because you cannot tell us that you cannot be challenged in court for decisions you make make as a legislature or as the executive. That is why the checks and balances exist. And when you are elected as a people, there is a reason why you have to take an oath. And that oath does not say that I will do what I want to do for the 5 years because I have a mandate. The oath says that you will obey and protect this constitution. That is what you take an oath through. And before you subscribe to that oath, you cannot even start the work you've been elected to do. That is what the Constitution says. So please, some of those arguments do not make any sense. And Trump never built any wall. I don't want to go to the US to show you. He never built the wall that he claimed to build. So some of those examples you're giving us just don't make any sense. You have not seen walls in the Senator States? Mungatana. Yes. You say, unlike me who comes from the city, you in Tana River don't need housing as much as I do. I was in Garsen, your people are living on the road. Your people are living on the road, the ones who are affected by the floods. In fact, we were saying so the priority of government.
That
no, just submit it. The priority of government, of course, is to make sure that people enjoy the life to the utmost. I have no problem with that. I will not argue against the need for housing here in Nairobi. We have examples of these things having been done. There was a slum upgrading project that was initiated during the Grand Coalition government by Raila Odinga. You didn't see a levy introduced at that particular point to do that. No. Number two, when Uhuru Kenyatta was in power, he started many of these projects, including the ones in Mukuru that I see the president from time to time just going to pass by and take photos and claim that he's the one building them. Those houses were begun without that housing levy. We are saying, let us have a conversation about how this thing is being implemented. And number two, you as a legislator, where do you think the views of those people you have given examples of, those that Mzee that spoke in Tana River, what happens to his views? Are you sure? Can you give him an assurance that those views will be reflected in the final product? You and me know that at the end of the day, this public participation that Farah says there's no legislation to guide has already been defined by our own courts. Yes. The courts have said that this public participation is not a cosmetic exercise. Yes, Parliament has not passed that law, but we are saying even the courts exist to develop the law. Farah, there is law that comes from the courts. No. There is law that comes from the courts. I don't know why people don't understand some of these basic things. Yet you have been in public service for years. Senator Mungatana cannot guarantee the people who spoke in Tana River that their views will be implemented in the final law. What will happen? Because this is our Pende Wasipende government, forget about what Senator is saying here. He knows for a fact that when the bill comes to Parliament, this debate he is crying for will not happen. He knows they will be called from State House and told, pitisheni hiyo kitu by Sasaba. These are the group that go there and chant, put the question. He is one of them. Yeah. So,
can I first of all, you are misleading people here. You are misleading people.
Don't lie to the people that there will be a debate. There will be no debate. I can assure you, because Ruto himself has spoken to this issue. He has said, wapende wasipende, whether the courts pronounce themselves, whether wananchi speak, it doesn't matter who says what. He is going to implement this project, come rain, come sunshine. So your views, all of those things, we saw it with the finance bill. Trevor, we were with you here. How many people, how many organizations, 99% of the people who showed up before the committee said these taxes you wanted to impose were going to hurt the economy. The economy is hurting right now. Did Ruto listen? Did any of the members of parliament in Kenya Kwanza listen to the people? Mungatana himself today, I want him to tell the people of Tana River. I want him to tell the people of Tana River that if that bill comes and it is not reflective of their views, he will vote against it. He can't say that because I know how he will vote.
Can I speak to this? First of all, you know, Sifuna is a very good misleader. Because, for example, now he's talking about the Raila Odinga starting the housing project in the slum upgrading. It was not his project.
Whose project was it?
It was not his project. It was done in his constituency.
No.
No, it was done in Langata constituency. Mheshimiwa, you are not there.
I was there. What do you mean I was not there? I was the Prime Minister at that particular point in time.
You are not in the House. You are not in the House. That project was conceived under 2030, Vision 2030, and it was there. And in fact, I'll tell you for a fact that there was resistance from the local member of parliament, who was Raila Odinga at that time. Yes, he came into the bandwagon afterwards. It is a fact.
Don't rewrite history, my friend.
No, it is a fact.
Don't rewrite history.
It is a fact that at the initial stages, he was telling people that this thing is political.
No.
Later on is when he changed. That's a fact, Bwana.
Please,
we
don't
were
lie.
in government.
Don't lie to the
anyway.
public. And you don't need to be a member of parliament to see houses coming up.
Apart from that, I want to make the other correction.
Yeah.
Mheshimiwa is arguing that I need to give guarantees to the people that their views will be heard. I'll tell you this, that those views were heard. That's why, as a senator...
In the bill?
As a senator for Tana River, I'm telling you, as a senator for Tana River, I spoke to that bill in that meeting. I don't know whether you went to any public participation.
No, I did not.
Not there. You will go na zunguka kufanya mambo ya ODM.
Correct.
You see? And you see now the problem